Okay, here we go. We're going to carry on. So we've got our item here, our eagle in this case, split into multiple pieces. They are individual, which is good because now we can work on them and do what we want with them. Now, the goal for me is to end up with something that has the whole eagle cut out. So I want a path along the outside here of the eagle itself, and I want the gray area to be engraved. So I need the gray area to stay gray. I want the black area to actually not be filled in with black so the laser doesn't draw it in. Okay? So all I want is a path on the outside and a fill on the inside. So click an area here, fill, fill, fill. The gray areas are fine. The black area, we actually don't want at all. We don't want the black area. Now, remember, the black area is separate from the white area and the gray area. So if we can just delete the black area here, if I select the black area and press delete, we end up with the gray area, still gray. We've got these little black areas that I'm just going to delete. So they're going to stay shiny, clear plastic. This tiny little blip. Okay, but we need the main path. Remember, this drawing, this item had a white background on it. So if I click that, it's still there, which is great because that path on the inside is what we can use to do our cutting on. Okay, so what I have now, I have the gray area set. I need to now transform this outer area where my pathway is, and I need to turn the stroke. The red slash means no stroke. I want to turn the stroke on, turn that to black. Okay, and I want to turn the fill to no fill. Okay, even if it's white and there's a fill, the laser is still going to draw it, even if it's white. That's why we made this gray, to help us differentiate. So we're going to turn the fill to red slash. We're going to say no fill. So this area out here, I select it, no fill, but just a stroke. And the stroke is what the laser is going to follow, which is great. The only thing we need to do now, we need to get rid of this path on the outside because I don't want to cut a box and then cut the eagle out of the box. I just want to cut the eagle. So what we end up having here, since we got rid of a fill and it had a shape inside another shape, we have what's known as a compound path. It even says compound path here in our properties, okay? And we're going to want to release that compound path. See, we can release right here. But let's just take a look in the layers menu. If we press the down arrow here, you notice we have all these different paths. So if I click here, here, these are different paths. Okay, and so if I click this one, that's this path here, this layer, this compound path, because we have multiple shapes. If I click our outline, notice that's this compound path. If I click this single little path here, notice it's just a single path, it's not compound. So we're kind of getting into the nitty-gritty, but it's cool to see that, here's a compound path, what this file at this point is made of. It's made a lot of different things. We want to select this outer one that contains the one we want, and we want to release that. So if we go to properties, if we select it, notice the release is a quick action. We released it from being a multiple item. Now we can select the inner one separate from the outer one. Okay, it's now two separate paths, and we can confirm that if we go to layers. Now we have, look, we have this inner path, which is the one we want, and we have the outer path, which is the one we want to delete. Press delete. So now we got rid of that outer area. There's nothing left out here. It's just a single path on the outside that the laser is going to follow and cut. We have these gray areas that is going to engrave. And this white stuff in the middle, notice I click it, nothing gets selected. We got rid of the black. The black color was that inner fill. So we're going to end up with these. These gray areas have no stroke. They're not going to cut. They just have a fill, which means they're going to engrave. And the only stroke is this pathway here. Now, in order for the machine to cut, we need to set it thinner, 0.001. Okay? So 0.001. If it's thicker than that, it will actually draw. So if I set it to 0.010, for example, it seems really thin, but it'll actually draw that line. So even if it is a stroke, stroke doesn't always cut. It's got to be thin enough. So 010, 001, a thousandth of an inch, 0.001. Thousandth of an inch is what you want for the machine to say cut. And you see how thin that is. All right, so this file's looking great. I might just expand the artboard a little bit so I can rotate it and get it a little more squared up. So the artboard tool is right here, and I can make this a little bit wider. And then I'm going to select my arrow up top, my selection tool, and if I grab everything, I can hover around this corner and I can just rotate it so it's a little more flat, which will help us line things up in the laser, right? If we want to cut multiple. And you know, if you want to cut multiple, now it's just copy paste. And you can just make 2 or 1 or 10, whatever you need. All right, so here's our file. It looks awesome. I'm pretty psyched. I'm going to cut one of these out, and I'll have it in class for you guys and gals to check out. All right, so there's the demo file. Save. Okay, make sure you save your work. You can throw this right on the machine, on the laser, and you won't have to do any more Illustrator modifications. All right, so I hope this helped. Good luck. Let me help you. Have a great one. Talk to you later. Bye.